Hey guys, it's me Courtney and welcome to my channel. I know it's been like at least what 2-3 weeks since I've posted or something like that, but life has been a little bit chaotic and I've been trying to sort of get into a rhythm of recording, editing, and doing all the other stuff I have to do on the back end, so I do apologize for it being so long. But that being said, I do have a lot of stuff coming in December, January. I have it planned out a little bit better now, so hopefully, you know, I won't have to take another hiatus to get my life together. That being said, today's video is all about my favorites and fails for the last 2 months. And it's funny because I actually don't have a lot. A lot of the products that I've been trying lately, I've really been on the fence about, and I haven't decided one way or another if I want to say that I like them or don't like them, if that makes sense. I may end up doing a video with those products in it. I just want that to sort of be separate than my favorites and fails because I feel like these are so definite in my mind. In any case, we're gonna go ahead and get into this video, and I'm gonna start off with something that's not necessarily new. This is the Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer. For the longest, I've heard people say that this is a really great primer. This is the sample size. I wanted to get a little one to make sure I really liked it, and I've been using it for a while now, and I still have a lot left. This is one of those primers that really does smooth out your pores in an awesome way. It works with multiple foundations, especially the foundation that I'm going to talk about in a second. Every time that I've used this primer, no matter what foundation that I'm wearing, I get complimented on how smooth my skin looks and how smooth my foundation looks. And I am wearing it today as well. I'm wearing the Hourglass foundation today with this. Every time that I've worn it, it literally smooths out my skin, my pores, my wrinkles, my everything. It does slightly mattify, but not to the point where your skin can't breathe or anything like that. It's like a comfortable sort of matte, but it does really fill in your pores, smooths out the skin. It blurs your imperfections so well. I actually like this more than I like my Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer, which is saying a lot. But yeah, if you've been on the fence about this primer, I would definitely say go ahead and try it out. Now, there was some talk about the formula being changed from what it used to be to what it is now. I like this formula regardless if it's different or new or whatever. I never tried it before, so I really do love this primer. One of the things I love to put with this Tarte primer is the Kat Von D Tru Portrait Foundation. Whew, when I tell you, I've already done a video on this, so I'll link it up here as well as in the description box, but when I tell you, this with this is like the best combination ever. Again, I get so many compliments on my skin and how smooth it looks. The thing about this foundation, aside from it being so different as far as like it going from a liquid to powder feel, it is probably the most lightweight foundation I've tried in a while. Now granted, I feel like there are a ton of lightweight foundations. I'm an avid makeup wearer, so I get really used to the feel of makeup sometimes. So if you're somebody who's a little bit newer to foundations and stuff like that, and you want the lightest feeling thing ever, I think this would be really great for you. I got the shade 10068. Again, I don't know if I mentioned it in my other video. A lot of times what I do with my foundation when I want to try out the color to see if it'll work for me, I usually put it on my arm, and the reason I do that is because my face is one color, my neck is one color, my shoulders are a different color. Like, I have a lot going on, and I feel like my arm is the closest to being in between everything, if that makes sense. So I usually swatch it right here, and if I can get it to blend really nicely into my arm, then that's usually the color that I'll go with. And not to mention, I'll do highlighting in the middle, I do bronzer, I do contours. A lot of the times I'm just sort of playing off of the different colors in my skin tone, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. That being said, 10068 was the closest match that I could get, and it works pretty well for me. You have to make sure you shake this like crazy, because it does have sort of oil kind of consistency in it, so you want to make sure you shake it as well as you can. On days that I feel like doing light makeup, heavy makeup, whatever, it works on a multitude of levels. These two together give me the most smooth, most flawless, most blurred base that I could ask for, and I'm all the way here for it if you guys want to try it out. The next thing I wanted to talk about, another favorite, I recently picked up the Valentino Donna and Roma perfume, and when I tell you, Oh my gosh, this perfume. All right, so the funny thing is I was going back and forth on whether I wanted to get this. I smelled it for the first time. I knew I loved it, but it's sort of on the expensive side. And literally one day I sprayed it on while we were doing like Christmas shopping or something like that. I sprayed it on, went outside, and the wind kind of blew it in my face, and I was just like, it smells so good. I'm noticing, I think that I just really enjoy a warm floral scent, or like a warm spicy scent. There's literal floral scents that smell the worst with my skin chemistry, like freesia, like I said, gardenia. There's certain fragrances I cannot stand, but warm florals, when they come together, I love how sweet but like soft, but at the same time it's really powerful. Like I don't know what I'm saying, but it just smells really good. So I wrote down the notes. It says it's a warm floral, but again, it's not super flowery or anything like that. The key notes are blackcurrant, jasmine, grandiflorum, and bourbon with vanilla, and I'm like, this scent smells so delicious. It does stay in the realm of like Flower Bomb. It's in the realm of the Armani C. It's in the realm of what is it, the Dolce & Gabbana, the One. This is such a beautiful scent. Every time I wear it, I do get compliments on it. Now one thing that I will say about this is that it doesn't last as long as my stronger scents. This one lasts till midday, and you might want to do like a little spray. I think what I'm gonna start doing is just getting a perfume with the roller ball or the little mini travel spray, just so that I can kind of touch up during the day. I think I'm just gonna have to do that from now on. But this scent in general is so beautiful, so feminine, so just sexy, and I love it. I love it. All right, so the last favorite that I want to talk to you guys about is from DevaCurl. And I never thought I would be speaking about them. A lot of their products have stuff in it that I'm not a huge fan of for my hair. It's more specifically for my scalp, that kind of thing. But recently I had to do some research. My hair has grown quite a bit in the past few months. I'll say like in the past 6 months. And in that growth, my hair pattern, texture, all of that has changed. So the products that I was using before aren't necessarily working the best for me right now. Not to say that they don't work, but my hair just needs something else. This is the Be Leave-In Miracle Curl Plumper. So I use this not as a detangler, but just as the leave-in, and it literally makes the curl so juicy. I do want to do a disclaimer. My hair today is not using this. If I have a picture or something, I'll leave it on the screen. This wash and go was used with something else, but in the past, if you saw my curls really defined, really soft, really plump looking, this is what I use. And it literally makes my curls so juicy, but it doesn't strip out any of the shine, any of the moisture. I am gonna do an updated wash and go video, and I'm gonna show you exactly what I do in order to have not just the definition, but the shine, the moisture, and the softness. I mean, like no crunch. And it's been able to last me like 2 weeks. Again, not this one, but the next one I do, I'll record it and I will show you guys what I do. But this right here is everything. In the meantime, let's move on to the fails. All the fails. Okay, all right, so the first thing that I wanted to talk about today is probably a lot of people's favorites. This is from the brand The Ordinary. It's the Buffet Peptide Serum. One of the pros of this, I will say, it is very inexpensive. It's a product that I don't mind putting on my face. Like, I don't feel like I'm reading the ingredients and feel some type of way about it. It feels nice. It does sink into the skin. However, it doesn't do anything. This serum to me just doesn't have any visual effect, whether it's moisturizing, whether it's you know, brightening up the skin, whatever it's doing, I just don't see it. And I think maybe if you're starting out in skincare, this might be something that you want to try. I think it was like $8 or something like that. It's at Ulta now, it's at Sephora. I'm not knocking the entire brand because this is the only thing that I've tried so far, but I don't see a big enough difference in my skin for me to continue to use it, if that makes sense. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys have tried The Ordinary, if there's other products that maybe that I should try from the same brand, but this one specifically just didn't do anything for me. Speaking of products that don't do anything, this is the e.l.f. brush shampoo. I usually get the Beauty Blender Solid. I feel like that is the easiest to work with as far as cleaning your brushes or your sponges. But I did want to find an alternative so I could save money. Those beauty blender solids are like $16, and they don't really last that long, mainly because I wait to the last minute to wash all of my brushes at once. Like if you look back here now, I need to go through all of these and wash them all at one time, which is probably why it doesn't last that long. Anyway, this one was $3. e.l.f. usually has really great products, brushes especially. I feel like you can get inexpensive brushes from e.l.f. that do a wonderful job at blending. So I figured that this would work, right? I swear with this product I had to wash my brushes 3 and 4 times before the actual pigment and foundation or the shadows, whatever it was, ever came off. And even still, like my white brushes, I can usually use a different kind of soap and my white brushes will go back to being white. This left all of my brushes sort of stained in a sense, and I had to go back and rewash it again with my beauty blender solid. So unfortunately this one I don't recommend. All right, so the last 2 things on my list are both foundations. The first one that I'm going to talk about I already did a video on. I will leave that up here as well as in the description box below. It is the Stila Hide and Chic foundation. I could not wear that foundation. I'm not going to talk too much about it. I just want you guys to know how much I thoroughly did not enjoy it. It's one of those foundations that even though it doesn't have a ton of coverage, it's still very cakey looking and feeling. And there's no amount of changing how much you use that takes away that cakiness, especially when you get oily throughout the day. It felt gross on my skin. And even with all of that being said, I still had to do a lot as far as like setting it, as far as building up my primers, as far as like, you know what I mean, really trying to make it look good. Definitely had to take that one back. It just really did not work for my skin, and it's not a foundation that I would recommend anybody even try. There's so many other foundations on the market that do what you want them to do. The Beauty Bakery foundation I think is a great one. The Dose of Colors foundation is a great one. The Kat Von D, of course, one of my favorites, is a great one. There's so many foundations that are great within the same price realm that you can get what you're looking for without having to do too much to get what you want out of it, if that makes sense. Last but not least, I tried the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Foundation. Now the thing about this foundation, I didn't actually do a video on it just because I didn't feel like it was necessary, but since we're here I'm gonna put it in this one. It's not my favorite for a number of reasons. One, I feel like the colors in this foundation are a little bit off to me. It's one of those things where every one that I would have used for my skin was too yellow, too orange, or too orange and yellow put together. It just, I could not find my shade in this. But aside from that, it is a very thick foundation, as you guys can see. It's more of like a moussey texture, if that makes sense. But it really just doesn't spread that well on my skin for some reason. For example, today I used the Hourglass foundation, and it's one of those things I can sort of dot on my face and blend it out, and it will blend out to this smooth, just flawless base. Whereas this foundation to me just was a little bit cakey. It covered up my pores for like literally 2 seconds, but by the time I got finished putting on my makeup, my pores were visible. And there was no amount of like powders that I could use to cover it up, and then it was cakey right here. It did not want to sit on my skin the right way, no matter what primer I used, no matter what setting powders, sprays, all that good stuff. It just, nothing made it look okay on me. Between the Stila foundation and the Airbrush foundation, I would definitely go with the Airbrush foundation between the two, but both of them to me are very cakey and cakey feeling. Let me know if you guys have tried any of these products, if you love them, if you hate them, what's your opinion, especially the Charlotte Tilbury foundation. Like, I've heard a lot of people say they really love it, but again, it just did not work for my skin. But anywho, that about does it for me, guys. If you are curious, by the way, about any of the products I talked about, that will be in the description box below. If you're curious about the look on my face, it is a Christmas look that is either coming up before or after this video, and then it'll also be in the description box below. Anyway, that about does it for me, guys. Hopefully this video was fun and helpful. If so, please give me a thumbs up. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video if the mood suits you, and I'll see you guys in the next one.